Right, this is me, Mr.Not.So.Perfect, and I have built a second camera, another prototype. So basically, the first one, which was going around the diopter, it was well, sort of damaging the diopter ring. So what I've done is I redesigned it using a design that the guy who sold me the housing, which is a Cobra Optics Demon, he designed a camera around this. So I basically sort of changed it a little bit to what he's done, but it's roughly the same design. So basically what I've done is I've made this sort of bar here, and the camera tail, which is susceptible to damage, goes up here with sellotaped, well, taped insulation tape. I was going to use heat shrink, but I tried that and I wasn't too keen on it. So anyway, it's taped to this bar, which goes around here, and then the camera lens is pretty much like a 10mm hole. It's not glued in, it's just held in basically by the tape that's wrapped around the tail. And then basically that goes down to the matecam sort of metal case of PCBs inside this. So I've got my 128 gig micro SD there, and then that is a USB port for power, a HDMI out. Now, downside is I've damaged my power cable on the matecam PCB. I've tried resoldering it, but it's not having it. I mean, it's pretty much micro soldering, which I'm pretty shit at. So basically what I'm doing is powering it off with the USB, which is USB 5 volts. Now, ages ago I damaged the shutter button, but anyway I got on button and the Wi-Fi button. So basically what it is the inside, the top of that, all I've done is I've taken the mini rail off from this side, and I've shortened a couple of bolts by, hacksaw and all that, and filing them off and everything. And then I've basically, this is the top part of the matecam sort of metal case. And what I've done is drilled a couple of holes through there, and then I've put a couple of steel bolts through which I've shortened, and they are going through that bar. And then basically, once that's sort of screwed down, and then the top of the matecam has like 4 screws. I actually lost one, but never mind. It's basically all fitted to that. So instead of having the diopter ring sort of not been able to use, I can now fully use it. So that can go in and out like that. And what I've done is I've sort of made it so that the length of this bit, which goes into and looks into the lens, is exactly the right sort of height for when the diopter ring is fully unscrewed. So if I need to change the diopter distance, whatever, for sort of whatever reason, my eyesight or whatever, then basically what I can do is do that. The only downside is, like the other one, that I can't have the rubber thing on. I mean, in theory I probably could, but at the moment I'm not too bothered that I can't use the rubber sort of eyepiece. So anyway, I'm yet to mount it to my helmet and test it, but I should think it'll be alright. But it's slightly different, it's going to be powered via the USB and not the 18650 batteries. So, I mean, that was a better system for the power, because the likelihood of me knocking anything and disconnecting the power was sort of not, what's the word, not viable. It's not the right word, but no, also that is the Wi-Fi like a aerial thing that I've basically double-sided tape and sort of just covered it with a bit of insulation tape going onto the house body. So yeah, it might be a little a little bit more robust than the diopter ring system, but it could be a little bit dodgy with the USB cable. But I do have a right-sided USB cable, and that basically plugs into there, and then it basically comes on with a little light, in theory. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's come on. So if I mean, I can't, I can't turn the flash off, but basically that little light comes on, and then when I press the Wi-Fi button, you can see a little light through that sort of gap between the memory card and the casing, because I've sort of coloured the LEDs with a bit of tape to sort of stop them shining in my face, and of course, you know, any LEDs shining sort of forwards, which sort of defeats the object of being covert. But anyway, I'm probably going to go for a bike ride tonight and try it, see how it is, and report back. But I've already recorded a little bit of footage in the back garden with the cats, and the camera's working fine with the night vision. And the only downside is you do have that sort of like view over the top of the tail, and it's very, very slightly off centre, but it seems to record it alright, so I'm not too fussed. But anyway, so that is the sort of second prototype for my matecam, and I probably will sort of try and redesign it, make it a little bit better, but it's you know, shame about the power. I mean, the only thing I can do about the power really is because the internal workings for the power is knackered on this matecam. I could buy another PCB, and then I can sort of reconnect with my 18650 battery, which in my opinion is more reliable probably than the USB. I mean, this is a power pack. It should last quite a long time. It's a 10,000 mAh power pack, so it might last maybe as long as an 18650. I do have a second one, so I don't know whether I'm going to mount it on my helmet or if I'm just going to stick it in my pocket. Probably stick it in my pocket for now. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, so there you go, a updated matecam video, and hopefully it will work fine when I go out on the bike.